Good morning. Today is Sunday, April 8th. You are listening to Studio 365, powered by TableThink. My name is Joshua, and I'm here in the studio with Pastor Kerrie Palmer. How are you doing this weekend?
I'm doing great. I love Sundays, as you know.
It's a good day.
And I love coffee.
Right.
And we're in Studio 365.
That's right. So what more could you want for your weekend?
Well, I could tell you. There's always a list, right?
That's right. But yeah, we hope that you are having a good weekend out there. And if you've got things that you've been, either some of you have been working, some of you were not going to be working, but maybe you've been doing a big long list of to-dos. We hope you've finished that up, and that everyone just gets a little bit of time today to kind of relax and kick back and just kind of take a moment of rest.
That's right. It's the perfect day to do that. We have, our title today is called Thinker, and not Stinker.
Thinker.
Thinker.
Yes.
And it's on, I say that because I've got little ones, and they tend to always say, what? They think those are funny things.
Yeah.
But this is from our series More, and it's really about how when we are approaching something, we need to understand that God sees more.
Right.
And so, and has more for us. So when we go to prayer, it changes our mindset. And so, you know, I have a story today I'm going to tell. I'm assuming you always have a story.
Yeah, I got quite a few as we've been kind of talking about this prayer series. It reminded me of one of my summer internships. So,
this should be good.
Yeah, so one summer I had an opportunity to go down to, there's actually a city called Atlanta, but not Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta, Texas.
Oh, Atlanta, and I've never been there.
Yep. So
been to Atlanta, Georgia, though.
Okay, yeah. So I went to Atlanta, Texas, and it's kind of right near the border of Arkansas and Texas. And so Texarkana is kind of the closest big city you go to. But I did a lot of fun stuff down there. And one of the things that we did is we did this night that we invited the whole church to. And it was kind of this night where you could go through these different rooms all along the side of the church. And we had some different stations set up. One of them was just this kind of neat prayer room with all these candles. And kind of what I didn't think through, because, you know, I just decided we had all these candles, but I don't have like nice things to put them on, right? So I found some Rubbermaid tub, like the lids, and I put the candles on top of that. We set them all up on stuff, and then, you know, I'm just off somewhere doing whatever. And all of a sudden, there's this hours later, there's this big ruckus. And turns out when you put the candles on top of that, it can start to melt, and then it melts the plasticky, rubbery stuff, and then fire really likes that, and then it starts creating a bunch of smoke.
So
and
you had a real fire?
So literally, someone was in there trying to beat the flames out, and fortunately, it did not grow to anything big. It got under control, but that's kind of the story of how I almost accidentally burnt down a very nice small church down in Texas due to a little prayer thing. But yeah.
Wow. Did you ever get invited to go back?
I did not get invited to go back, but I think we're still on good terms since we had a lot of fun down there.
Excellent. So. Well, that's such a good story. I'm going to save mine for tomorrow. So you'll have to get back into that.
You're keeping us hanging, right?
I am. We're going to do today a little different than what we've been doing. We've been talking about the fact that so many people ask about prayer all the time and what that really looks like. And so we're using a prayer from the Bible. And sometimes people are like, but I don't know what to pray. Well, really, it's not the words. It's the meaning of what you're trying to talk to God. And so this is, we have Psalm 71, verse 12, and then verse 14.
Okay, it says, "O God, do not be far from me. O my God, make haste to help me. But I will continually and will praise you yet more and more."
I think this is such a decision when that we're talking to God and we just can be honest that, God, you feel really far away.
Right.
And we have to start thinking, okay, God is Emmanuel. God is with me.
Yeah.
God is with you. God is present. And sometimes we just have to keep saying that because there are power in our words. And when we forget that God is with us is usually when we move into the darkness. And so here's the psalmist praying this prayer. We know some really hard, huge things are happening. We've talked about the injustice and the wicked and the evil, and goes on to say, oh my God, make haste to help me. And I think that sometimes, God, I can't do this anymore. I feel so alone. There's no control in this. And as hard as that is, I think that's a really good place in prayer, because then we're saying, where are you, God, and what are you doing right now? Because God is always doing something for us.
Right. Yeah, totally true.
And finally, then just this declaration of, it has the but, that because there's another
right.
side of this.
Yeah.
Okay, I get this. I'm going to hope continually. Hope is really about eager anticipation. And so when we're praying, say, God, I'm going to hope in you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to praise you more and more, because I understand that at the end of the day, this is who I am to be. I'm not to be worried and stressed out and continually thinking about what's the situation is going to do to me. But instead, my attitude is, wow, God, you are amazing. You are awesome. And we need to start turning that tide in our world today, in our culture, in our backyards, that God is awesome. And even though it's a difficult issue, we can get through because of that. And so Joshua, today our challenge really is we need to think God. We need to think that God is the God of more, and that God will be doing more than can be imagined. And that, that fire that you were talking
right.
about in that little Texas church, the thing that happened was pretty awesome, is that the church did not burn down.
Yeah.
And so
that
yay
is awesome.
for you.
Right.
But that God was present in all of that. And that what, we can know is that even if it had burned down, that God would have brought something good of that, because that's who God is. So Joshua and friends, I will talk to you tomorrow in Studio 365.
That's right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will see you tomorrow morning.